Let's talk about brand identity and how it relates to writers who are going to be writing for other artists, right? I think that you've got a lot of experience in that. So let's talk about a specific moment where you did something like that, where you wrote for someone with brand identity or the identity of the artist in mind and how it came to life.
So we're going to be talking about a really specific song called A Matter of Time. That was actually my first cut ever. And it was cut by this artist named Kathy Mattea, who's a country artist who had a really big hit in like the late 80s, early 90s. Okay. And so this actually it happened in 2006. So we're talking like decades after that initial time in that artist's career. So she was, a more mature, older woman. She wasn't like a 20-year-old person anymore. Mm-hmm. It was actually this huge week-long project that they were doing at Berklee, because I was still a songwriting student at Berklee at the time. And she was going to come. Anybody in the entire school, inside or outside of the songwriting department, was eligible to pitch a song. And she was going to pick one to sing. And then they also had George Massenburg was going to produce it. And for those of you who don't know who George Massenburg is, he basically invented parametric EQ, as well as...
No big deal.
Yeah. Produce your favorite song, Africa by Toto, stuff like that.
Right.
And then Elliot Scheiner was the engineer who had done Steely Dan records, just
a legend.
Huge record. So it was this big, huge thing. Everybody pitched a song. It was all live. We got to watch her listen to the songs live. And she was just going through them and talking about them, whether they were going to work for her or weren't going to work for her.
How many songs was this approximately?
I'd say maybe like
hundreds
50.
Or? Okay.
50 songs that got submitted.
Okay.
And they chose my song. I co-wrote it. Okay. I co-wrote it with the other writer's name was Jared Salvatore. And we really thought about who she was. And I think ultimately that's why the song was cut. And I was surprised at the time because it just made a lot of sense to me to find out more about her. Because frankly, I didn't even know who she was.
So how did you do that? How did you do the research? What kind of things were you looking at, like past performances, reading articles about her, like that type of thing?
I went on, she had a personal website and a blog.
Okay.
And Hurricane Katrina had happened maybe 2 months previous to this. Like devastating hurricane. And she had put a blog post up about going to Louisiana and volunteering with the Salvation Army doing relief work. So I knew that she was really passionate about this cause.
Right.
And I also was reading about the fact that she was religious as well. And I knew how old she, I guess I just read through her entire blog and just extracted the key words. It was older woman, had a whole younger career. Now her whole identity was more of a mothering identity. Mm-hmm. And that she was religious and that she was really community centric and wanted to help people.
Got it.
And so that was enough for me to say, I'm going to write a song. It's going to be a lullaby that a mother or a grandmother is singing to a child about the hurricane. And then I'm going to sprinkle in a lot of religious lyrics to make that happen.
Did you ever try to put yourself in her place? Were you trying to, when you wrote, were you writing as if you were her? Or were you just writing with that overall sentiment?
I feel like I could have done a much better job thinking about her voice in particular, because when you listen to the demo versus the final production, you don't really hear a lot of Kathy in that demo. The demo is much more like a Mariah Carey power ballad situation. But I think that the writing itself, the actual structure of the song and the lyrical content and the melodies overshadowed that. I could have done a much better job of taking into consideration her range, because we had to puzzle piece that thing together so she could sing it, because it was not within her range.
But she chose it. So the underlying composition and the words and the emotion of it really resonated with her.
It was nuts watching them pick. It really came down to 2 songs. But I was surprised at how little everybody else thought about it. They were like, oh, she's a country artist, so I'm going to write a song about drinking beer at a bar and guns. And she does not drink alcohol, and she's anti-gun.
Right.
So it's just this sort of assumption that I'm going to write this woman a country song, but that's not who she was at all. And so she would listen to 20 seconds of a song and just be like, nope. She wouldn't even get through it. She'd be like, that has not, I don't actually believe in that. So next. We were one of the last few songs, And there was another one that was about time passing. It was like a father time sort of a thing.
Sure.
And she was really moved by that song. And then they played ours. And she literally wept.
Oh, really?
She cried. She just like lost it in the thing. And I knew, I was like, ooh, we did something.
We got her.
We did something really good there.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. I've had a songwriting teacher who she used to say, no tears in the writer, no tears in the listener. And it was like the actual manifestation of that, you know? It's like, wow, she actually cried.
Right.
And then she got it.
Real practical advice is know who you're writing for and do your homework, right? And
Big
what
time.
else? What else?
I think you have to remove yourself. You know, we're talking about that sonic brand. Like, everybody has one. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, everybody has one. There's like the thing that you do. And you have to stop that. Like, it's not about you, right? So somehow you have to know thyself so that you can stop thyself from being yourself at those moments. The research part is just the first step. Like, knowing the other person is a big part of it. Knowing yourself is the other part. And like, where do those things intersect and how do you serve the purpose of that artist's identity, and making sure that they see themselves in those songs, because otherwise they're not going to cut them.
Right. And it was also timely, right? The song was about something that she was communicating that she was passionate about. So it was also matching where she was in that moment, not just who she was overall. So there's a little bit of like timing and trying to nail where their mind or their emotions might be at that point in their career too.
That's an important distinction, because it's not about who the artist was, it's who they are today and what they care about right now. And it was like the intersection of so many things that made that work out.
I don't think a lot of people talk about this, right, when it comes to writing for others, removing yourself from it. It's one thing like, oh, I'm going to pretend to be that person, but getting into the identity of who that person is in that moment is rarely discussed. So I think like back then you intuitively were picking up on that, and that's why the song got chosen. So it's a really good lesson.